Well, good evening, everybody. As the lights are up, we are good to go. Welcome along to FEI TV. Delighted to have you with us here at the Stuttgart German Masters. A big jumping class for us to enjoy here this evening. 30,000 euros, this one round faults and time, of course, acting as qualifier for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup on Sunday, and also the German Masters itself, which will take place a little later tonight. That in combination with the points picked up from the big speed class here last night. So there's a huge amount to play for all of these horses and riders tonight, and it's brought out some of the best in the business. We've seen some great sport already. Louis Connix, our course designer, the magical Dutchman that is setting the challenges, a man that has built World Championships, European Championships. He one of the best in the business designing here this week, and he's really brought the best out of the horses and the riders. This is a one-round faults and time class. The time allowed for your reference is set at 71 seconds, and as you can see, we're quick to get underway. No hanging around with Amanda Landeblad here for Sweden with Vakili. It's been a really strong ride for her. Came up through those three-star Nations Cups this year and into the five-star classes by Hickstead, part of the team. Went to Spruce Meadows as well. They actually were third in the five-star King George V Gold Cup, the Grand Prix at Hickstead at that Royal International Horse Show back in the summer. And they're giving us a real indication of the sort of direction that Louis Connix is sending them here this evening. Now, you come round, I call this the top side of the arena because it's away from the in-gate, down to that double, quite a big stretch out. And you're far from done, because now there are inside turns and options on this track at the moment, though she's sort of playing a little bit safe, which you can perhaps understand as the first to go. Now this is going to be the last as she lands. Time penalties have come into play. She has taken the wider lines. 74.26 means 1 for 1 for the score for Amanda Landeblad and for Killy. So picking up the 4 faults as it currently stands, unless there's any adjustments made, which I don't know, be surprised. But we'll see. They can do that within the first 3 to go. Nevertheless, certainly showing good prowess, good power, and I think she'll be very happy. Perhaps concentrating her thoughts a little bit towards that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup round on Sunday. And that, of course, is the culmination of this huge week of sport here in Stuttgart. We are at the Hans Martin Scheler Hall once more. We bring together all 3 FEI World Cup disciplines with the jumping, the dressage and the driving, and then you add to that the FEI Ponies Trophy. It is a full house of top-class equestrian excellence. Well, we move on. And plenty of applause for this man. It's Marco Kutscher that joins us next. He's the first of the German riders. And his ride here this evening is Kariana, the 9-year-old stallion by Kanan. It's a man that has won European Championship in the past. He has a tremendous championship pedigree throughout his career. Team gold at European Championship, individual and team bronze at the Olympics with the wonderful Montenda. Of course, he also took the team gold in 2011 with the wonderful Corneta Belensky, the great Corneta Belensky. And tonight, pushing on with this 9-year-old into this penultimate line. As you can see, immediately on the turn, get quite close. He got very close to that second to last fence, but I think he's got away with it for all but the clock. 66.50 is the final time. It means there is a 1 penalty score for Marco Kutscher there, and Karian for Germany. Still waiting for the first clear. There was an adjustment to Amanda's score and time. It was in the end a total of 9. So that was correct, but Marco Kutscher there just a shade over 0.5 half a second. did take the turn. Well, on we go. Plenty of stars from Belgium here as well, and Willem Vermeer is ready to go with DM Jack Mott. Was rode at the European Championships and the Nations Cup final this year for Belgium. With his fabulous IQ managed in Jake jumping a double clear to help Belgium to third place at those Nations Cup finals in Barcelona. He's had a busy few weeks since, though. Of course, competing on the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup circuit. He went to Oslo and to Helsinki last week, jumping in Maastricht in the 4-star event in the Netherlands. This 14-year-old Swedish warm blood is a gelding by Toulon. And it's a ride and a rider. They know each other well, plenty of experience, but as you can build them up and give you all the information, and then something as sad as that can happen. And I always feel so bad for both horse and rider when the opening fence goes down, because it's such a long trip after that, and there's very little you can do apart from sort of reassess your plan, and what may have been planned to be quite an attacking round suddenly turns into more of a schooling round. That's part of the double as well. Giving himself the use of the big wide sweeping turn back in front of the lake over in the corner. Time penalties adding in as well, but jumping and time combining for that score of 15 there for Belgium's Vermeer and DM Jack Mott. Layout has been adjusted to 70 seconds, which now means that the round for Marco Kutscher is clear, 66.50. It means Amanda Laderblad has now on a score of 5 penalties, so Willem Vermeer there still on 15. Marco Kutscher therefore has set the standard. There is a clear on the board, as next to go is Robert Whittaker for Great Britain. Robert and Vermento, a horse that his father bred. It's by John's tremendous ride Argento that many of us and many of you will remember, and Robert, who has produced this horse, and then of course took that amazing win in the Longines King George V Gold Cup back at the Royal International Horse Show at Hickstead in the summer. And you know, despite all that, first fence goes down. But these two have had a little bit of a break since going to the Nations Cup final. They went to the Horse of the Year show in Birmingham, the 3-star, and then took some time, went to Lear, won the Grand Prix in the 2-star there before coming here. There's no doubting that this is a tremendous horse, and it's great for Robert. Much turn this round as well into preparation for Sunday, giving himself space, not trying to turn up any times that he needs to for the remainder of the track. And there is still time involved with that round, but Robert Whittaker finishing with 1 down and 4 on the clock will therefore have a total of 9 in 74.47 there. 5 on the clock, 4 for jumping. It is Robert and Memento there to finish on that 9 penalty score. So Marco Kutscher with the clear has set the early standard here. Despite taking it relatively steady, the 9-year-old Kanayan is leading the way. Germany next. Tim Camp with IB Qualita, 11-year-old mare by FRH Quaid. Had a good run of results in the likes of Walden, Bielberg sent out with his team of horses, having a run of wins, and actually jumped well here yesterday. Over the water train 41. Just pick up a little bit of an indication of a split time if and when we get there. Down this 5-strided distance into the double, single stride out now. Again, elects to come wide. It's going to be a little bit slow, I would say. 2 or 3 seconds behind on the clock, 69.54 for Tim, though it means he is clear. The crowd certainly enjoyed that, and I'm sure he does too. 69.54 though, there's only a fraction inside that time allowed. So Tim Riskamp, God King there, going into second place in these early stages. It is Germany first, Germany second. Of course, Germany had the big win last night with Hans-Dieter Dreher and Westermel de Contis taking the top spot in the opening qualifier for the Stuttgart German Masters that will take place later, that €100,000 class. The German fans certainly enjoying that one. Now to the man that finished in third place last night with this ride, Carla NRW. It is Philipp Schulze-Tophoff. Again, therefore, for Germany, and what a year it has been yet again for this young star of the German sport. Recently, he finished in second place as well with this horse in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup round in Helsinki. Oh, really went for it on the turn as well, which is impressive. That roll back to the wall, you then meet it really blind. It's big, it's solid, you've got to be able to trust your horse. And suddenly we're moving up through the gears and jumping here, using the options that Louis Connix has given them. 38. Does he come inside? Yes, he does. When you turn, that upright meets you very quickly. But this is a quick round. Surely it should jump into the lead, or will it? 61.77. Yes, it does. By 5 seconds, Philipp Schulze-Tophoff, he got over the last. Started to worry then a little. And Germany 1, 2, 3. But that, in all fairness, is the first really competitive round we've seen here tonight, as Philipp used all the options that were available to him and backed up what he did last night. So a great start for him to this big class tonight. Of course, I'm sure we'll go a long way to try and booking him a place in the even bigger class that comes later. But look at that. They say you come off that turn, you've got to come inside what is fence 1, and then suddenly fence 11 is right there in front of you, and of course that has an impact on the distance that follows as well. Kevin Stout goes next. This beautiful mare by Tinker's Boy, the 10-year-old Tinkerbell RS. What has this man got up his sleeve for this evening. Of course, Olympic champion, team gold 2016, European champion 2009. He jumped this year in Omaha in his 11th World Cup final on Visconti du Telmont. He's looking again to qualify, therefore, come Sunday, picking up hopefully some more points. He did have a good start to the season with 4th in the World Cup in Oslo. Yeah, just started to travel left in the air, and that's when you start to open up the risks. And unfortunately, Tinkerbell with the fence down, and then the double follows it, and it gets worse as it becomes 12. Well, it is 12 come the end as well, 65-32. He had a nice rhythm to the round. It was almost as if once he'd had that problem at the Longines fence, the World Cup fence, then after that, just maybe unsettled the horse a little, because then one fence seemingly led to another, and within the space of 4 jumping efforts, when that one fell, he'd had 3 fences down. Very unusual for Kevin and for Tinkerbell RS. Nothing unusual about what this man did a little earlier today. He won a class here in Stuttgart. He seems to go well, but he is very quick against the clock, and he's had a good run recently. He's took 3 Grand Prix wins down in Saint-Tropez. He's riding Dubai, Dubois, Pinochet is Pirschwitzer. This won one of the 3-star Grand Prix down in the south of France. Of course, part of the World Cup final as well this year in Omaha, when he finished in 6th on Vancouver de Lanlois, his World Championship ride from last year. And immediately from the off, you would expect him to challenge. He has a very natural forward way of riding. Lovely, smart, tidy turn, even able to get straight. Bar, 2-stride upright. And he comes back now to the double of uprights. 4 strides and over the water trade. Now you come round all the way. It's a long old run from 8 to 9. This 5-strided distance. Just trying to steady up a little. And I think he's had the first part of that down. He has indeed. 4 comes up, and that'll be perhaps why he was happy to go that little bit wider on the turn, but that is a shame. Would have been a few seconds away from Philipp Schulze-Topov's time, 64.58. Could have put him into second, but for that fence going in to the double late on. And again tonight, seen quite often over these opening couple of days, Louis Koenigsegg is only using the multiple doubles rather than involving a combination so far. Pirschwitzer there on a score of 4. 3 clear rounds so far, and they've all come from German riders: Philipp Schulze-Topov, Marco Gutscher and Tim Rieskamp-Godking. The 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Dika Carstensen next up, another then for Germany. Certainly shown some good promise this year as this young lady. She jumped a brilliant double clear on a 3-star Nations Cup team in Uglahan to secure a podium finish for Team Germany, and also took the individual honours, winning the 4-star Grand Prix in Riechendorf. This horse called Greece, 9-year-old mare, was the star ride for her. It's by Milo Carthago, and she seems to be off to a good start here as well. Speak too soon, and down goes a fence. this competition is a faults and time competition, whereas last night was a real speed competition. The jumping comes first tonight. Last night, seconds added, so you could push on even with the fence down. Tonight, the clear round comes first, time comes second. It's about the jumping first and foremost, and then we look to the clock, of course, as the deciding factor. But you've got to jump it clear with 3 clear rounds on the board. Nothing else is going to do it, and sadly, that was 4 faults, just as we can see, just rolling the pole going into the double. And what have we seen? I think 3 now have done that coming off that turn. Well, we move forward to Belgium. Second of riders for Belgium. This is Peter Clemens, but the 9-year-old as well, this mare by Big Star Junior KZ. It's called Big Beauty Z. Had a good showing in Oslo back in the middle of October. He's come quite wide round to that upright, but he's set the horse up into a rhythm that he's happy with the balance. He doesn't want to change that by having to turn and hook the turn overly tight. It's the challenge down there on those 4 strides, just getting drawn in. Those very strange coloured poles that I still maintain make me feel like I've got blurred vision whenever I look at them. Almost locked onto the wrong fence as well there. Part of the challenge, but that, as I say, when you turn up tight there, you've got to come inside one, and then you are very much left with almost no room at all. But I mean, there is the room, but makes it such a difficult jump. Peter Clemens sadly on a score of 8.66.93 is the final time, and it isn't to be for that man from Belgium here this evening. 61.77 is the time. There's those poles I'm talking about, to say there's just sort of crisscross white stripes on that blue. I think it's a good optical illusion. Well, the volume's gone up a level in the arena right now, because here's the man that took the big win last night, and he's from this region here in Germany as well. It's Hans-Dieter Dreher. He's over the first. Off we go. This is Couscous. This 11-year-old gelding by Cachas, and what a brilliant win last night on Westermelde's Cotis he had. It's been quite a run. He was part of that Nations Cup winning team that took Germany to the final and to the top step of the podium in the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup in Barcelona. It was a huge, huge moment for Germany, and great to see Hans part of that team. He's not wasting any time here, and I would suggest he's still a few seconds away from what we saw from Philip. Lovely rounds. Consistency is key when you're trying to get yourself qualified for the Masters as well later tonight. So 63.38, he's got into second, and he and Philipp Schulze-Topov both look to have done the business in terms of that. And Germany having a fabulous evening here at the Stuttgart German Masters so far. A little bit of a reversal of fortunes, I guess, because it was Hans last night on top. Philip ended up third. Tonight Philip is leading, and Hans drops into second ahead of Marco Kutscher. 63.38 was his time. Well, next up is going to be a young lady from Norway. Great to see so many people here already this evening, and it'll just get busier and busier. There's been a real buzz around the Hans Martin Schäler Hall all day. We started bright and early this morning, and it's just been picking up, building up all day long, and Certainly, you can see there getting very full around this magnificent field of play. Well, the next to step onto it is Lars Kirsten riding Funky Fred Madoff Z. This then is a chance for the Dutch. We seem to have mislaid Vicky Gullickson. We'll see if there's any news in due course, although she's maybe just been taken out and now withdrawn. So this is Funky Fred, 9-year-old stallion by Fadamos de Musa. He was a very successful rider in the youth categories up until 2019. These two were second together back at the start of the month in the Grand Prix in Bielbergen. Just asking the horse just to keep moving forward. You can almost see it coming back at him a little bit there. Stallion certainly has plenty of scope, but sadly he's had that fence down as well. That double proving quite tricky. Coming perhaps the slightly more sensible route, rolling back in to the penultimate fence, and he clips the plank to double a score, 66.87. But it is a score of 8 penalties there at the end of the round for Lars Kirsten for the Netherlands, with Funky Fred at Manatov's Z. So much jumping still to come. We're only, what, a quarter of the way in to this big class here this evening. 30 still to come forward. Chasing 61.77 as a leading time. Next up, the yellow coat of Yuri Mansur. It is Brazil. Riding here with vital horse Abadai Hero. This mare by Echo Vantirusaka is also, what have we seen? 3 tonight have the first fence down. Yuri Mansur becoming the third of an unfortunate trio of scores. Better now, but it's all a little bit in vain after the opening fence goes down. Well, 2 fences down as he comes back to the second to last. Time penalties? Yes, there is indeed. So 71.48, 2 for time on top of the 8 for jumping, bringing his score up to a total of 10 for Yuri Mansur. Go back and have a little look at the replay. It's, again, it's just a little bit surprised. It's very innocuous, isn't it? You've seen what 3 of them have that first fence down, which is not overly usual. Well, next to go, Great Britain, and their second of 3 tonight. Hello Valentino is the ride for Scott Brash. Scott, who put in a tremendous performance last night in the big speed class here with Hello Mr. President to finish in 5th. This is this really impressive 9-year-old member of his stable that is really growing up this year, and has, in doing so, showing just what a big part of stable I think this one is becoming for now and the future for Scott and his team. You were jumping with it in
Maastricht last week. He had an unlucky fence in the first round of the Grand Prix, but he was top 4 in the Grand Prix, the leading show jumper of the year at the Horse of the Year show, and he's jumped well in the likes of Aachen. He was also actually on the team with it in Brussels. His accomplishments in this sport speak for themselves. You sort of get the feeling, Scott, as well, that he's trying to play a little bit of percentages here. He is giving himself room and space. That, of course, always is going to help a horse that's looking to continue to build, gain more experience. He's getting on the time. He's going to get tight. He has just gone over. It's the one fault, but after that strong finish last night, he's looking to back it up with a consistent round that sees him pick up enough points again tonight to get into the 12 that go forward into the big class later on this evening here. This is part of the way the qualification works for the German Masters. And of course, he's then going to also be very focused on that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup round for the big honours here on Sunday afternoon. He has got Jefferson with him. So, alongside, hello Mr. President, lots of strong horsepower. Well, this is a horse and rider that have certainly shown to be strong for both themselves, but also for Switzerland. Liliane Berman and Little Lumpy E. Rode at the European Championships. Of course, 2 years ago, the European Championships, Liliane was a team gold medalist with Campari. But these two qualified for their first ever World Cup final in Omaha this year. Just pitched a little bit onto that back rail. He was trying to make the stretch. Again, they need to be landing over that water tray in around about 35 seconds. That's just to give you a little bit of a clue. That was the sort of split time that I managed to get off Philip, who's leading at the moment. Sadly, he's going to land on 4, isn't he? 66, 62. For Liliane Berman there for Switzerland. Little Lumpy E. Still just 4 clears. Of course, Scott Brash on that single time penalty, but 4 clears so far. All 4 German riders in the class. Philipp Schulze, Tom Hans-Dieter there, Marco Kutscher and Tim Riskamp-Gorking are the 4 that have found their way to a clear round here on Louis Connex's course. Now another chance for Germany for sure here. It's Pierre riding PB Chaconi. Another very experienced combination that know each other well, this mare by Checo Blue. Shuffled in a short step there. We see it on the replay, but just that moment that Terry hesitation. Score of 4, under 70 seconds, so in on the clock for Pierre and PB Chaconi then. Been changing at the top, so sadly though not to be for that particular partnership for Germany here this evening. That's what I mean, just sort of put a little step. Right, next up, Italy. Another part of the Italian team from Milan, back at the, what was it, start of September, wasn't it, the Europeans. This is Giampiero Garofalo riding tonight with Gaspar. Jumping last week in Verona. It tidy at the moment. Round they come. He's starting this line when Philipp Schulter-Topov was finishing this line, but he does jump clear over the water tray, and a clear round currently puts you in the top 5. And not to be in terms of the clear, subtle challenges, isn't it, that this course is just, it's got to be so very, very precise, so very, very delicate. Despite Louis Connick's, of course, designer giving them all the room in the world in places, mistakes still then just happen. So they cross the line 68.91 as Giampiero Garofalo there and Gaspar, the 12-year-old stallion by Berlin, wrapping up for Italy. Another chance to come for the second of the Italian riders a little bit later. For your reference, we will jump 4 more, and then there will be a 10-minute break after the next 4 for footing maintenance. The arena team just going to come in and have a run round, and then we'll come back with the second half of the opening round. Plenty of applause for Stuttgart as he joins us next up. Of course, the newly crowned European champion with that individual gold medal from Milan. What is he able to do tonight? Of course, an Olympic champion as well from London in 2012, a man that has succeeded on so many occasions in his career. Alongside that, what is it, 3, isn't it, wins in the World Cup, the FEI World Cup final, when he's riding here with double Jeu de Haute. Last weekend he was second in the World Cup qualifier in Verona on Bernard de Crécy. Last night he did find his way into the top 4, so he again, like we've seen with the others that put on a good display yesterday, are just trying to play a little bit safe tonight, and that is a good round just in on the clock, which puts him 1 place ahead of Scott Brash, because whereas Scott was a few tenths of a second the wrong side of the time allowed, Stuttgart is a few tenths of a second the right side of the time allowed. So for the moment he goes into the top 5 on double Jeu de Haute, the Swiss Superstar, the European champion. Last night, as I mentioned, he was 4th. He was with that great 9-year-old yesterday evening, Oberfriend's Ishoni Sheet, which is a really exciting new member of the team this year. And consistency is key. Clear rounds certainly paying dividends, and some very careful jumping going on. But at the end of it all, Philipp Schulter-Topov leads the way, but now it's Marie's turn, Marie Schulter-Topov, and this is Vladimir van Gias, the 8-year-old mare by Van Helsing. Now, yesterday, the opening class of the show, We watched Nora Penty, the Finnish rider, lead all the way through, and then this lady was last to go. She said, "It's not for you to win," and went on and won it. And poor Nora, who led all the way, got pipped to the post with a superb performance from Marie. She looks like she's able to ride here with a good amount of confidence. Gets out of there in around 40 seconds, so down on Philip's time, still going quite nicely. Such a big big gaps as well in time between first and second, between second and third especially, and then again third to fourth. Taking the sort of medium route there. She's certainly displaying plenty more promise, and up goes the arm. She's jumped the clear. The plan comes together for Marie Schulze-Topov here with 67.21, and it is another up into the top of the order for Germany here in Stuttgart tonight. Marie Schulze-Topov there goes into fourth place, and German riders now filling the top 5 slots here in the Hans-Martin Schäler Hall, which is certainly what this crowd wanted to see, and from watching on, of course, as you'd expect. I'm sure the plan was agreed earlier. So, (61.77) still there to be beaten. The next to go, we stay with Germany. One leaves, one ready, and this lady was in great form last night when she finished in 7th with this horse. It is Amelie van der Middelstam. This is Johanna Beckman, the 11-year-old mare by Eberald. Rode at the Young Rider European Championships this year, picking up individual 8th on Chinook. Last year on the Young Rider team, part of the silver medal winning team. The combination here, finishing 3rd in the Grand Prix for the Young Riders in Hagen. It's been such a big part of the youth setup for Germany. But great again to see these younger jockeys, these up-and-coming talents, getting a chance here in Stuttgart. Unfortunately, just clipped the back rail. And those safety cups just dropping the pole to the floor instantaneously. Well, 68.65 would have, in terms of time, gone into 5th place had that fence not gone down for Johanna Beckman. And, well, she'll have to wait and see if it's enough to put her through to the Masters later, down in 11th at the moment. It'll all depend on how others perform. Might see her come back later tonight, I don't know. But for the moment, as far as this class is concerned, it's still Philip Schulze-Topov leading the way, Hans-Dieter Dreher sitting in 2nd, and Marco Kutscher is 3rd. One more to go before the footing maintenance break. It'll be a chance for Belgium. So we just catch up with some of the replays here from that round. So this is Rick Hemrick. You can see just how this arena's filled up here tonight. There is so much for them to look forward to. FEI World Cup driving coming up, as well as the Stuttgart German Masters title. This is Navro van het Ilshof, 10-year-old gelding. It's by Japaloop van het Douwenhof. right. Still clear after the water tray. A little bit speak too soon, and seen that happen a couple of times already this evening, and it's happened again, this time for Rick Hemrick and Navarro Van Het Helshoff. Gone for the inside turn though, with not been masses of clears. He's worked out that a fast four certainly could help his course here, and that is in fact the fastest of the fours, 63.75 for Rick and Navarro Van Het Helshoff. So quick thinking on his behalf. Full marks to him as he manages to, despite having a fence down, still be best of the rest after the clears and that single time penalty. But the best of them all is Philip Schulze-Tophoff, who leads on 61.77 ahead of Hans Dieter Dyer and Marco Kutscher. Marie Schulze-Tophoff is in fourth. Tim Riskamp-Goring finishing there as it stands in fifth, and Steve Gadat the other clear in sixth. But we are only halfway through this competition. Still 21 to go. We'll take a short break. We'll come back in 10 minutes time with the second half of this iWest prize. So those are the remaining starters in this big class here on the Friday night at the Stuttgart German Masters for 2023. Led at the moment by Germany's Philipp Schulze-Tophoff, 61.77. That's the quickest time around this one-round course. It's Fulton time, as we know. And now to a partnership of Julien Aquatin and Gravity of Green Hill. Julien last night running Z Ice Cube Z, finishing in the top 6, finished in 6th place. But tonight, oh dear, big implications with that stop as well, because not only the fall, not only the stop, not only the recovery ride that is needed if he was, I don't know, perhaps hoping to, you know, use the average to get qualified for the Masters later, that could have a big impact. He certainly knows that if we can do anything now, it's keep it to 4 and try and be as quick as you can, because there are a limited number of clears, but the faster you go, the more risk you're going to take. That's obvious. And it's not that this horse lacks experience, it just took a disliking to that fence just for that brief moment. Now it's giving its all. Too late though. That very costly double really does scupper the chances of any level of recovery now. I think he would have been very competitive against Philip's time without the problems, but that's an if, a but, and a maybe. Julien Aquatin, Gravity at Green Hill, 73.36 at the stop of the first, and fences down, bringing the score to a total of 16 due to the 4-time penalties. The time allowed, to remind you, is set at 17 seconds. So Germany very much in charge as it currently stands in this class. Every reason to think that will continue. Jana Bragas as well. Rockwell RC is up next. Jana riding the 9-year-old mare. Of course, has had, well, unbelievably, has had the first fence down. But that is been a tricky opening fence for some really bizarre reason this evening. But anyhow, of course, it's a big year for Jana. She's European Championship team with Limbridge to finish 4th. She was on the winning Nations Cup team in Barcelona with Dorette. Last week she finished 4th in the Grand Prix of Maastricht with Clash Royale, and she's been going very, very strongly across the course of the season. And this, you know, that's the less experienced ride that she's got here, the 9-year-old mare. But nevertheless, would be very disappointed to have had the first. Well, what can you say? But it's not your night when the first goes and the last goes, and 69.76 becomes the time. She doesn't pick up any time penalties, but it is the 8 of the jumping there for Jana Vargas for Germany. So sadly, dropping her right the way down the order. Going back and having a look here at the run down to that last, and just tightened up and didn't stretch out over that back rail at all. Well, next to go, the turn of Ireland. This is Billy Toomey and Diego del Caribe, the 10-year-old stallion by Canaan, that has certainly begun to look like a real superstar this year, and has just got more and more impressive. It's great to see Billy here as well. He's been such a successful rider for Ireland. Just been down to Rabat, where he jumped this horse on the Nations Cup team and had a top 6 in the Grand Prix. very lucky indeed. He pushed the wing out. I mean, he jumped he jumped right to left over that fence. That's normally you sort of see that happen, and that's when poles start to fall down. And unless I was imagining it, I'm sure he pushed the wing slightly left, and it somehow didn't go out wide enough that the cup's dislodged. And if he goes for this turn, he's going to just come round fence 1. It's a really nice round at the moment from Billy Toomey. He's a man for the big occasion, and as the occasion's bigger, the results will get better. That is still a very good round, 68-46. He's certainly up there now, as he's put himself up into the top 5 and into the mix. So 68-46, I mean, a margin away from the leader, but when clear rounds have been few and far between, he's only the 7th clear of the night. So I think he had his little bit of luck. I don't know if we'd get the replay of that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup fence and what the wing did. Well, there's the bell for the next to get underway. Belgium. I'm sure looking for a positive performance now will be Jordi van Marasanova riding here with Olympic van der Paderborn, the 9-year-old gelding by Balabet de Rouet. Jumped in the opening 3 rounds of the World Cup this year in Oslo, Helsinki and Lyon. He didn't have any luck, not like Billy Toomey. Now the score becomes 12. He's just racing on a little bit down that line. The last a nudge, but he sticks to 12 for jumping, but a time penalty. 70.36, just over the 70. Jordi van der Marasanova for Belgium, then an Olympic van der Paderborn. Going round for a final total of 13, so that will, of course, as we know, drop him right the way down. Got your 7 clear rounds currently. Scott Brash sat there at 8th place on that single time penalty, being 0.6 of a second over the time allowed. Then 9th place is the fastest of the 4s, down to 15th for Pierre Henry. That's the clears and 4s and the one in between. Makaravelli next to go, Turkey with a policeman. 11-year-old Hanoverian stallion by Pedigree. In a good ride alongside his other very impressive horses. You think of Maurice that he used at the Europeans this year. Aventois and Izdanov. He jumped this horse on the Nations Cup in Prague earlier this year. Again, a good round, and he's trying to make sure he keeps the horse nice and forward on these long runs between the fences. I think it is just the challenge there as well of it being such a long run. let the horse almost just lose a little bit of concentration. He doesn't want to jump anymore. He's decided with the fence down, no need to play any further for Omar Karavelli there for Turkey. So he makes the decision to save policeman for a different occasion and retires. Well, the noise level's just got ratcheted up a notch in this arena. No means, as I can see, it's another of the German stars heading in as the star of Turkey heads out looking a little deflated and a little disappointed here this evening, and I think you can all sympathise with that. But now the turn of the great Michael Jung, of course, the eventing master, a double Olympic champion, world champion, three-time European champion, but he's a hot ticket in the show jumping arena as well. He's a all-round equestrian athlete. This horse is Fischke du Power, the 12-year-old gelding by Nameless R. Hoping he has it go slightly better for him tonight than he did yesterday. Having had a good result in the eventing on Wednesday night. Just got too close. It's not making it any easier for him either, and now he's really just taking his time. He's gone a long way out to come back to that parallel at number 9. Holding on the 5 strides, then that single stride. Now we'll go wide to come back to 11 as well. Well, he adds the last fence, time penalties, and 13 is the score, 74.06. Right on the clock, alongside the jumping 8. 13 the total for Michael Jung and Fischke Duo Power. Germany still in that commanding position though in this class tonight. That is a qualifier as well for that Longines FEI jumping World Cup round for Stuttgart on Sunday afternoon. Philipp Schulze-Tophoff leading at the moment ahead of Hans-Dieter Dreher and Marco Kutscher. Marie Schulze-Tophoff, to remind you, sitting in 4th ahead of Billy Toomey and Tim Rieskamp. Your current top 6, it's Germany all the way apart from Billy Toomey in 5th. What about France? François-Xavier Boudin and Brazil de Menzel. These two, the winners of the Grand Prix at the Dublin Horse Show back in August. Also the Nations Cup team, they were in the jump off of the World Cup round in Lyon and in that Grand Prix in France as well. Quite a long way off going into the double. Needs a lot of power to get out. Not going to be too far off here. This could get France up into the top 3 or 4, 63.79. He's come very close to going into 2nd, but it is 3rd. It's what, a few tenths of a second away from Hans-Dieter Dreher, but François-Xavier Boudin has really nailed that round with Brazil de Menzel to move into the top 3. So very, very good round of jumping. François looking impressive here this evening. And that'll go towards a big helping of points to try and qualify for the Masters later. We had that disappointing round yesterday, so we'll have to see how the balance works out. Next to go, Kevin Jochems, the Dutch star. This is Flying Jackie. Kevin last night finishing down in 14th place. A good round this evening could benefit him. He rode Lacoste yesterday evening. Ride an experienced mare by Nabab Darev, 13 years of age. Very nifty little turn, just turning back, meeting that upright just where they wanted to. He's absolutely in touch with the leader at the moment. In the challenge, perhaps, towards Philippe, who leads. Does he come in? Yes, he does. Gets a very good turn back. How tight is this going to be? He's challenging towards the top of the order here. Kevin Jochems, Flying Jackie, flies to the finish. 62.95 is second. Really good round from the Dutchman there. And he gets as close as anybody to Felix Schulze top off. He is a second away from the man that leads as it stands. Despite the fact he didn't score on the qualification for the Masters last night, he was only one out, and that is a good score tonight, surely. We will see. Kevin Jochems second. Well, it was Germany all over at the top. Now, though, we have one for the Netherlands and one for France in the top four, but Germany still lead with Felix Schulze top off. Now Mario Stevens and Starissa into the top 20 last night. That fence down that cost them time with the seconds out of class. Riding this very exciting horse. 10-year-old gelding by Staccato Gold. Part of Germany's team on the Nations Cup in Aachen this year, and a very good win in Hamburg. Just flattened off a little bit with the double. It's proved really tricky coming round that corner for quite a few of the riders here this evening. .65.70. That time was good enough to go into the top five, but for the fence from Starissa and Mario Stevens, it's another fence, another night, another class. But again, it costs him and drops him down outside of the money. He goes into 13th in the order at the moment. So Felix Schulze top off knows he's still leading as it stands. 61.77. Kevin Jochems, Hans-Dieter Dreyer, Vincent-Xavier Boudon, Marco Kutscher, and Marie Schulze top off. That is the top six. That is the fence going down for Mario Stevens. As we then look to move on to the partnership now that came second here in the big class last night. It is Great Britain's Harry Charles. This is Billabong. Billabong du Romois. Very good yesterday. We know this combination have got pace, far from the easiest ride in Harry's lineup, but if he can make it click, it can be quick. Tiny tap going in. He needs a little bit of luck on his side. He's dead level with Felix Schulze top off. That 61.77 is as under threat now as it has been at any point. Quick as you like now. Which way does he go? He's taking the slightly more conservative route, but Billabong's got the pace. One more to go.
59. He has done it in 59. Unbelievable. I wondered if he could get there under 60 seconds, and he has. Harry Charles, the superstar for Great Britain. The world #1 in terms of under 25 riders. And what a performance that was. He's #1 tonight. I was about to say, could he get round in 59 seconds? Can somebody break the 60-second barrier? And Harry Charles does it with Billabong Dubois. 2 great performances in 2 nights. He went from second, he's gone to first tonight. Thumbs up from Harry Charles. And like I said, when it clicks, they're quick. And it really has clicked here. Oh, little kick out over the triple bar, but this was where I think he did get a rub, didn't he? He did, yes. Oh, he got a big knock there. Those grey poles have caught plenty. But he rode with such confidence from start to finish. Well, this is Italy. And now the turn of Alberto Zozzi, looking to have his say with Cortez, Van Kleen, Adstonk, Zed. Still including Alberto, 12 to jump here. And you just wonder which, if any of them, are going to have that sort of pace, because I think Harry's perhaps just pushed this out of reach, taking nothing away from the ability of those still to come. But that was something special we just saw. But this now is still a strong start. Unfortunately, second to last goes down. 66.78 is the final time. Could have been a top 10 position for Alberto Zozzi there, but he was 15th last night, drops into 17th tonight. Coming home, jumping the last. So Harry Charles, Philip Schilter, top of Kevin Jochems. The 1, 2, 3 is Great Britain, Germany, and the Netherlands. Now the turn of our next to go. Another chance for Germany. Kendra, Brinkop, and In Time, the 10-year-old mare by Bisquieu. Tricky little upright that's cost plenty in this class. Costs this combination that we're on the Nations Cup team together in Spruce Meadows. And 8 it is, with the time penalties adding on to the jumping there for In Time. 73.65 for Kendra. And that chance also fades. Still some exciting partnerships left in the draw. We can get down the list at the moment.
Philip Leprevos went well here yesterday. Jos Verlooy has been flying over these past few weeks. Jessica Burke in there for Ireland as well. Certainly no slouch against the clock. So plenty of excitement, more than that as well to come. It's the turn of Switzerland now. One of two Swiss riders still to jump this course. Alan Uther riding tonight with Dante MM. His team ride this year. Horse that took him to fourth in the World Cup round in Amsterdam last winter season. So flies to the finish in 65.73 for Alan Duffer, putting the Swiss right up there now as well, top six on the very experienced Dante MM, and using that experience to his advantage this evening. At the replay, looking good now, still chasing 59.30. We look to a rider that's had a great run, a win yesterday, a win last Saturday night in Maastricht, this 10-year-old stallion. The choice tonight for Belgium's Jos Verlooy. It's Nixon van Mullenhof, stallion by Denzel van der Mullenhof out of a Carthago mare. And although the graphics say it's Alain Duffer, we just saw him, but what we have also seen is that opening fence falling to the floor once more, and with it the challenge from Jos Verlooy goes as well. Getting it even more in a muddle as he comes round the corner. Those colours just proving difficult tonight. I think he's retired, is he? Yes. No, maybe he hasn't. Maybe in fact he's just going to, well, let's see. I don't know if he has retired. I think, like, you know, they all like to finish on a positive even if they are, and you want to make sure this horse is feeling good for the weekend as well. Well, he does recover to the finish, and despite the issues, you can hear the crowd really appreciated that, and I think Nixon will have benefited from the confidence given from Jos. Still not that keen to go back down that line. Saw the water tread and said, no, we've done with that bit. Right, so Jos Verlooy out of play, and that's one of the names he would have perhaps looked at the line and thought maybe, but it hasn't quite worked out that way. see just a short shifted a stride in. Geran's Enning goes next. Classic Donna. And history repeating itself for this class here this evening. I would suggest we've probably seen half a dozen have the first fence down. These two were on the Nations Cup team in Everschkoff this year for Germany. Still two more chances for the German riders after this as well. Coming down towards the last. Oh, time penalties adding on as well. Johannes Enning there at a total of 7:72.07 for Classic Donna. And still no one able to challenge Harry Charles. That moment we saw the class change after long-time leader Philip Schutter-Topov dropped back into second. Of course, all came round that point where things were shuffling all over at the top of the board. Kevin Jochems, of course, now sat in third for the Netherlands, and there's another Dutch rider coming up next. Replay moments, though, here for us to look back on Johannes Enning and Classic Donna as we already underway here. Quick to go for the Dutchman, now Joppin, riding tonight with Habil van der Zak-Z. 12-year-old gelding by Hostio. The Grand Prix in the jump off in Livolden, the 3-star there at the end of October. Jumped Maastricht last week. Put in a really good round earlier today as well on his other horse. Kept it clear at the moment. Good round. That is a good round. It should get him into the top 10. 68-62 it will. Safe and sound for Larry Joppin, Habil van der Zak-Z. So two riders for the Netherlands now inside the top 10. He joins Kevin Jochems. Been a good day for Larry Joppin. And it continues here this evening. Going back to the replays. Well, certainly nothing wrong with that. And once he'd gone for the turn, met it just where he needed to. Wouldn't have wanted to be any closer because he still found his way to just giving it a slight touch. Into the final five. And Patrick Stühlmeier now. Just outside the top 10 last night in the speed class. He finished in 11th place on catcher, and now riding Drekke de Morange, the 10-year-old San Francisco stallion by Canaan. A good run tonight. Can see him into the Masters later on this evening. Partnership. We're on the Nations Cup team in Mannheim earlier this year. They also had some very good results, including a top 3 in Monaco and in the 4-star Grand Prix in Munster. Does he come in? No, he goes round, but he's gone the very long way round. And the time just ebbs away, and it starts to get ever closer to time penalties if he's not too careful. But I think he'll just get in on the clock. I know we've lost the display, but there it is, 68.86. It's just outside the top 10. Patrick Stillmeyer then goes in to 11th place, which is exactly where he finished last night. So, showing great consistency there. But I have to say, I think he was trying to make sure he's got a starting place in the big one later this evening, that €100,000 Stuttgart German Masters for the 12 that qualify their points out of last night and again tonight. This again as well, the qualifier for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup round, the big one on Sunday. The biggest prize of the week in the grand finale, that next leg of the Western European League. And another rider that went well here yesterday evening is Penelope Leprevos for France, top 10 last night on Texas. And now with Bingo del Tondu, the 12-year-old San Francais gelding by Viga de Suisse. For France's leading lady. Triple bar to the upright's ridden actually quite well. I think if anything it's caused them problems when they've got to the World Cup fence at the end of the line. Penelope jumping very well indeed. Is she clear? She's jumped the fences and she's just snuck in on the clock as well. 1/100th of a second faster than Ski Cadet managed to go. So for the moment, she's there in 13th place is Penelope Leprevos for France. Of course, France got François-Xavier Boudon up there in the top 5 as it stands as well. So good consistent rounds of jumping. And that's what she was aiming for, clear rounds of jumping. And that leaves us now just 3 more combinations to go. 1 for Ireland, 1 for Germany, and 1 for Switzerland here in the big class. The schedule, this world ranking €30,000 competition. It's Ireland now. Ireland at the moment in the top 10 with Billy Toomey. This is Jessica Burke. She was on the Nations Cup team with Billy down in Rabat in Morocco just last month. This is Nike HH. She started the year out with some fabulous results, both for the Irish team and individually in the United Arab Emirates, and then has had a very good, strong season ever since. What is she able to bring to bear this evening? Won some good classes over the course of the summer. She had a good win in Dublin and in Rome on impulse. Just hung a little bit in the air over the triple bar, but now she knows how careful she needs to be here. Just make sure the horse sees the fence. That's it. Gets up and over. Nice big jump to follow as well. She's nowhere near the time of the likes of Harry Charles, but she's going to take the slightly more discretionary route. And unfortunately, it still costs her. Nike certainly not making it easy for Jess out there this evening. And despite there is the much tighter route to come inside to that upright, as we've seen all evening. There is the much longer route to come round, but that middle route has worked for many, and you can see why she sort of played half sensible, but unfortunately that fence costs her 69.90 the final time. And then there were two. There's the fence going down, just caught it in front, just a bit too close. Germany and Switzerland left to go. Great Britain lead. Again, that opening fence. I feel like I've repeated myself a few times with that fence going down, but I've not known an opening fence for quite some time cause quite so much trouble as that one has this evening, and there's just nothing unusual about it. Well, Michael, his 10-year-old, is Contario, Michael Vueg by Contendro. To the score. Sadly, at this moment, it's not going to be Germany's night, although I get the feeling that could change later when we come back. But for now, there is one more to go, and it's Great Britain leading with Switzerland in as the last nation to come forward. Germany's Michael Vueg there, and Contario sadly finishing on a score of 11 for the man based near Munich. Go back to the replays, you can see this first fence. Whether it's just because they're a little bit on the turn, whether it is because they're just focusing a little bit, maybe the only thing I could say is, of course, you've got the lake in the background there, but it's a long way away, but maybe that is just drawing the eye. Who knows? We're not there on the floor exactly to find out. So there is one to go. Harry Charles is leading on the Friday night here in Stuttgart with a time of 59.30. The last out against the clock is Adrian Schmid, and he rides with Chicharito. Is he able to do anything about the order as it stands? Best of the Swiss riders is currently Alan Ufer, who sits in 6th place. Adrian, although he rides for Switzerland, he's based here in Germany. 10-year-old gelding by Casalito. Down on Harry's time, that you can see, but I would suggest he's at sort of a pace that the top 10 is still a realistic option here. He's going to have to perhaps be a little daring here and try and turn inside. He's certainly got to take the mid route, that he has. Just lost a little bit of momentum over the second to last, but he's pushed to the last. Where's your clock? 67.40. He has got into the top 10. Adrian Schmidt's got into 9th. 67.40 is his final time. That was a really strong round to finish this class off here this evening. The prize I West here at the Stuttgart German Masters wraps up with that round from the Swiss rider Adrian Schmidt and Chicharito. It has been a great night of sport. Still plenty of sport on offer here, and of course the big class on Sunday is the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. The Western European League arrives here in Stuttgart, but tonight the Masters in sight a little later on tonight.
It has been a win for Great Britain and for Harry Charles, with the Super Billabong du Romois having finished in second place last night. Harry has gone one better here in Stuttgart tonight and come out on top. Philip Schulze-Tophoff moved up from third last night to second tonight, and Kevin Jochems, what a showing that was on Flying Jackie to finish in third. Last night's winner, Hans-Dieter Dreher, still up in the top of the order as he takes four from Francois-Xavier Boudon, putting France there in fifth. Alain Duffer and Dante MM rounding up the top six here this evening. There's been some really strong rounds of jumping, and it certainly has whetted the appetite for all of the big sporting competitions that are still to come here from Stuttgart over the remainder of today, and of course tomorrow FEI TV bringing you live coverage of the driving World Cup round here tonight as well, and then more with the FEI Dressage World Cup round tomorrow, the driving final, and then that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. The Stuttgart leg is set for Sunday afternoon. We've seen some great sport from Oslo to Helsinki to Lyon to Verona. Now it's Germany's turn here. But tonight it is the British rider Harry Charles that has taken to the top step, and he will celebrate with that great win ahead of Philip Schulze-Tophoff and Kevin Jochems. Looking forward to what comes next. I'll come back and join you a little bit later on.
Und das Ehrenkomitee im Preis der Firma eWest ist schon mal eingetroffen, liebe Gäste. Die Firma eWest, ein absoluter Top-Sponsor, entwickelt und produziert seit mehr als 30 Jahren qualitativ hochwertige Diätenergänzungsmittel für die Pferde von Sport- und Freizeitreitern. Und jetzt, meine Damen und Herren, kommt die erfolgreichste in ihrem Countdown zur Siegerehrung zu uns. Platz Nummer 8. Meine Damen und Herren, noch einmal unser Applaus für Wilhelmine von Schaster und Marie Schulze-Topper, Deutschland. Platz Nummer 7 geht an Karajan und Marco Kutscher, Deutschland. Der 6. Platz für Dante MM und Anna Juffer, Schweiz. Rang 5 für Brasil, Dumesel und François Xavier Moudon aus Frankreich. Und der 4. Platz geht heute Abend an Couscous und an Hans-Dieter Dreher, Deutschland. Hier nehmen wir das Top-Trio mit großartigem Applaus gleich in Empfang. Denn hier kommt Ihr Sieger und die Top-Platzierten. Die Weltranglisten-Springprüfung. Der Preis der Firma eWest, zweite Qualifikation für den Stuttgart German Masters heute Abend. Nach Fehlerpunkten und Zeit mit fehlerfreiem Brett in 59,3 Sekunden geht der Sieg an Billabong du Rouen und Harry Charles, Großbritannien. Congratulations! Zunächst gratuliert die Jury, vertreten durch Jens Helmers aus Dänemark, den Sieger. Und es freut sich natürlich auch Herr Matthias Meyer, Geschäftsführer des Hauses eWest, die Glückwünsche zur übermittelnden Begleitung von Andreas Krieg, Mitglied der Turnierleitung. Wie gesagt, die Firma eWest, ihr hochqualitativer Begleitung, ist Partner bei den Ergänzungsfuttermitteln und Diätprodukten für die Pferde sowohl als Sport- und Freizeitpartner. Und eWest ist dabei in allen Fragen gerne an Ihrer Seite, wenn es um die Fütterung Ihrer Pferde geht. Der zweite Platz, fehlerfrei, 61,77 für Carla NRW und Philipp Schulze-Topper, Deutschland. Und ein ganz großartiger dritter Platz mit einem fehlerfreien Ergebnis in 62,95 Sekunden für Flying Jackie mit Kevin Jochems, Niederlande. Und es gibt noch schöne Ehrenpreise, neben der Siegerdecke für unser Siegerpferd. Auch noch Champagner und Champagnergläser für den Sieger. Duke Gin Wanderlust und Longdrinkgläser, jeweils für Zweit- und Drittplatzierte, aber für alle neben den Blumen vor allem auch noch Produkte aus dem Hause West. 3 Kilogramm Magnolyte und 2 Kilogramm Kollagen. Ganz herzlichen Dank noch einmal auch an unseren Sponsor, der uns heute Abend noch weiter begleitet wird, wenn wir in etwa einer Stunde in höchstem Tempo mit den Viererzügen hier in der Halle unterwegs sein werden. Das Ehrenkomitee darf sich zurückziehen und die Bahn ist gleich frei. Für den großen Stuttgarter Applaus für drei großartige Paare, die jetzt hier noch einmal ihre Runde drehen. Die verdiente Ehrenrunde, die angeführt wird durch den Sieger Harry Charles mit Philipp Schulze-Tophoff und Kevin Jochems. Now start the Tour of Honor. It's your applause. This is a real fantastic lap of honor here with the unbelievable winner, Harry Charles. And the great second place, Philip Schulze-Tophoff. And the fantastic third, Kevin Jochems. Now one round more, please, here. Thank you very much for this brilliant lap of honor and the brilliant performance. And one lap more for the winner. Goodbye, Philip Schulze-Tophoff. Goodbye, Kevin Jochems. And one lap of honor more by Harry Charles, Great Britain. So, und das, meine Damen und Herren, würde jetzt der Brite sagen, da uns keine Musik zur Verfügung stand, weil mal kurz in der Buchse der Strom ausfiel, einmalig auf der Welt, das war eine Siegerehrung unplugged. Und jetzt wünsche ich Ihnen viel Vergnügen für eine kleine Pause und alles andere als unplugged geht es um 18:15, so ruhig ein bisschen mehr war, weiter mit den tollen Viererzügen. Wir haben die absolute Weltelite auf dem Bock. 18:15 geht's weiter.
Sie möchten ein Girokonto, das perfekt zu Ihrem Leben passt. FEI Extend bietet das passende Girokonto für alle. Mit tollen Zusatzleistungen und exklusiven Vergünstigungen. Mit FEI Extend nehmen Sie Ihre Geschäfte ganz einfach selbst in die Hand. Direkt in der Filiale. Unkompliziertes Banking wie Sie es erwarten. Stellen Sie das Girokonto, das genau zu Ihrem Leben passt. FEI Extend. Viel mehr als ein Girokonto. Die Begeisterung für Pferde treibt uns jeden Tag an. Wir von Invest wissen, dass die richtige Grundfütterung die Voraussetzung für Gesundheit und Wohlbefinden ist. Damit wird die Basis für eine gelungene Partnerschaft für Pferdereiter geschaffen, die sich daraus entwickelnde vertrauensvolle Beziehung zum nächsten Schritt zum sportlichen Erfolg. Sportlicher Erfolg würde ich eine individuell auf das Pferd abgestimmte Fütterung will das Leistungspotenzial zur vollen Entfaltung bringen. Lernen Sie Invest kennen. Du möchtest deine Schäfchen ins Trocken bringen? Dann haben wir was für dich. Den Allianz-Schatzbrief. Einmal einzahlen und dein Leben lang profitieren. Die Allianz-Lebensversicherung. Da für dein Leben. Verpasse nichts mehr, hol dir jetzt eine